right.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here, folks, at the news. So we got some good news for you. We'll start with, we noticed some upcoming events happening. Gen Con, Origins, and the Spiel are all happening later this year. And things are looking better for each of them all the time. As a side note, the Dice Tower will be at Gen Con. We won't be at Origins, and likely we won't be at Spiel. You're bankrolling that there, sir?
I'm not bankrolling anything. You should be there with me.
Maybe you should be booing then for us poor people. Anyhow, previews for all of these are online. This is from Board Game Geek. Eric Mark puts these together. It's been a long time since I've seen a preview for upcoming stuff.
Oh my gosh, I know.
So that's good to see. We'll probably go through the Gen Con preview as we get closer to Gen Con, which feels like it would be now, but it's not. It's in September.
Yep.
So we'll see. I'm still thinking that Origins may get squeezed out here, being halfway between these big cons. Like, I don't think that we'll see a lot of releases that are released at Origins specifically, but you never know.
But at the same time, you know, if you pick a convention, you'll get all the same releases. I don't think you're going to see one that is only for Origins. Sure. Though there might be. I mean, there could be like some smart publisher, and I'm going to be very specific. You know, somebody could specifically say, we're going to release this cool title at Gen Con and then this cool title, and they can, you know, get a lot of buzz out of both. That would be kind of a smart thing to do. But they're literally 2 weeks apart. That's a rough. They're going to have to hold something back.
It's really tough for a board game company if they wanted to go to all three of these. I'm curious how many board game companies are going to all three. I would imagine it's not many.
How many media people will? How many here on the show will?
Whoa. The media people here aren't. Oh, you're talking about yourself. You're using media real loosely. All right. Board Game Geek has an app for the iOS. And I guess it's coming out to Android eventually. They're still testing on iOS. I have not tested this yet. I keep meaning to go use it, but I think this is great because while the new site for Board Game Geek works better on the mobile phone than it did in the past, for sure, an app would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I have no idea. Is it like basically you get the database on your phone? Is kind of what it is. I mean.
Yeah, well, this is an official one. There's already unofficial ones where you can keep track of your plays and rate games and things. So I'm not sure everything that this can do. It says that you can rate and follow your subscriptions. That's a big one for me. If I could follow my subscriptions on my phone, I would really like that.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about this because it's, you know, Aldi and team will put the full probably force of their data.
Well, I don't. Yes, but this is actually being designed by not them. It's somebody else.
Right, but Aldi
with their support, of course. Though.
Sure.
Right, so they could get who's ever doing it can get all the data. Versus it's a little harder if you're just an independent person dragging across the data to format it right. So I'm excited about this. I agree. This is cool.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so Android Headlines, which is about Android, and I thought it's funny because when I saw the AH in the corner there, I thought that meant Avalon Hill. But anyway, they talked about their top 10 best board games for Android, which includes Risk, Ludo Club, Chess, Reversi, Monopoly, Checkers, and Castles of Burgundy.
I know, this is the craziest
I love
thing.
I thought this was like a joke when you put this in here almost. It's like, I mean, this is the anti-10 best games. It's like the anti-9. It's the worst 9 games plus a really good one, Castles of Burgundy. It's ridiculous. This is what they put together?
I get why chess is on. Who's playing checkers on an app? It just feels like, I don't know. I know I'm going to get a comment on that.
It's just kind of strange to see Castles of Burgundy make it on that list, and it makes you wonder why did that one make it on?
Well, the quote that they have was, list? The Castle of Burgundy is the only paid game on this list. You're playing the game with dice, but you also need to make some choices along the way.
I do think that dice in a board game are definitely a welcoming thing. Like if I put 2 whatever Euro games in front of you, and one has a bunch of dice, whether you roll them or not, that's the thing, and the other one doesn't. Most people that are not gamers will gravitate towards one without dice. They recognize that.
I think that's 100% correct, Z. The dice is something that people understand from years of, playing games with dice.
Yeah,
so, and that's kind of a reason why roll and writes, I think, even, penetrated mass to a certain extent. And they did pretty well because, I can roll these things and make choices based on that versus like draw a card, move a thing here. I got to grab these red things to make blue things. That's a whole nother level of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting list.
A terrible list.
So this year, the past year of news, we keep talking about new things that Asmodee is partnering with, whether it's shoes or socks or whatever it might be. Now it's enamel pins. So Fansets LLC is working with Asmodee to bring you the fan favorite characters from the Keyforge universe as pins. Cool.
Okay.
I mean, these are cool looking pins.
I'm not a pin guy. These are beautiful pins. If I was into, and I don't play Keyforge, and I've never even tried it. I really just I should play it because I hear it's just great. Well, okay. But if I was a pin person, those are awesome pins, but I'm not. So
it seems a little narrow. I know. I guess Keyforge is doing well, but if you're partnering with a pin manufacturer to make pins, why not as Asmodee open that up a little bit? How about just doing a whole brand? Like here's Cthulhu Tentacles because we do 18 games about that, and here is a rocket that represents a rocket in Twilight Imperium. I mean, this is not just Keyforge, but then also characters in Keyforge. Wow. Talk about, narrowing that target audience. I don't know how many folks that play Keyforge, which is a very sort of CCG-minded kind of card game, also are huge on enamel pins.
No, we'll see. All right. Jackbox, which is my family's go-to choice if we're going to sit down and play, party games together. Jackbox is a lot of fun, and they put out new sets all the time. But they're actually making a board game, but it's a collectible card game with decks of cards generated by playing Champed Up, which is in Jackbox Party Pack 7. I'm a little confused about how this works.
So from what I can tell, you play the game Champed Up in the video game, okay, in Jackbox Party Pack 7. Once you're done playing, this is a game in which you it's kind of a little card game, a very simple head-to-head fighty card game.
Right.
The cards are being illustrated by you, like you draw on your phone or whatever, right? Like you do for some other party games for Jackbox. Once you're done playing, they give you the option to follow a link or whatever and get this printed and sent to you. That's
fairly brilliant. Now that I'm understanding it.
It'll have you and your group's illustrations on the physical copy you get. That's the idea.
So I was trying to remember if I played this one. I own all the Jackbox stuff. I think they're really amazing stuff to play, on Zoom with your friends. And I do now remember playing this, and we've always somebody always comes up with these absurd illustrations that you then remember forever. Like people start taking screenshots and you start sending them to each other. I mean, now you can be able to get physical prints of these things, and it'll play like a game. That's kind of genius, and I kind of will now do that, and I will spend some money with my friends doing this. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this now. Does it say how much they cost?
Yeah, it's not going to be cheap. We'll say that. I guarantee it, because print on demand stuff is never cheap. It doesn't say it here, but I'm gonna look into this.
The only other problem with this also would be, while it would be funny for the group who played it, it has no meaning to anybody else. Like if you printed some out that you play with your group and I came to your house and you said, let's play this, I would say, oh, and you'd be like, this is hilarious. You weren't there, it would fly over my head.
I agree with that.
But this is totally celebrating the group you played that with.
Sure.
I think this is a great idea. It doesn't need to cross those barriers. It'll be a conversation piece for you and your group of friends for a long time. It's clever.
Yeah, very clever. Like a legacy thing if you think about it, right? You've created it for that play session for that group.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff Tidball, who I think is associated with Atlas Games.
He used to be.
Been on. He's not with them anymore.
I don't believe. Yeah.
So he actually was on the Dice Tower show in the past, the Dice Tower podcast. We've talked about local game stores before. Well, he just bought the company Prolific Games. So Prolific Games, which has a very popular selling game, the Sasquatch game. What's that called again? Flapjacks and Sasquatches.
Yep.
Which we don't necessarily consider to be a great game, but a lot of people like it. So there you have it. So we'll see what happens here. The company Left Justified LLC has bought Prolific Games. It seems like Prolific Games should produce a lot of games, right?
Yes. They do not. And I have not played them. But Jeff's a smart guy. He knows a lot about the industry, so we'll see what he can do with these games. Although, again, I'm not interested in that particular game at all. But maybe the new stuff will be better.
Right. Yeah. Why buy this if not to produce more things? Right. That's
sure.
The idea.
All right. Wiz Kids has announced Zombie Princess and the Enchanted Maze. So this is from Andrew Beardsley. It has a very striking cover. Like, that's a cover that's going to jump off the shelf at you.
Yeah.
Kind of insane.
Neat.
You're starting in one corner, trying to get to the other corner with avoiding the zombie princess. So you're making a maze. Is it a two-player game? I love this tagline. She was looking for love. Now she's looking for lunch. That's a great tagline.
I wonder if Zev came up with that. That is pretty cute. There's really not a lot of information here on this one, but like you said, the art's great. The concept sounds cute. I would definitely like to check this one out.
All right, I'm really excited about this next piece of news. Kids Chronicles: Quest for the Moonstones. So this is from Lucky Ducks, and essentially this is Chronicles of Crime for kids.
Oh.
I'm really pumped about that because Chronicles of Crime is great, but it's definitely mature themes because there's murder and all kinds of, the murder happened because of an affair and yada, yada, yada. But if they make that same kind of app scanning technology, which at this point, between Chronicles of Crime and Destiny's, Lucky Duck is on point with this stuff. It works well. I think this would be really fun. It's a 30 to 45-minute game. It says there's one tutorial and 5 unique stories. And, of course, they'll have more. And if it's like their other games, they'll allow people to make their custom ones. And that's a great cover, although it does look like a VHS cassette cover from the 90s.
I guess.
Doesn't that look like one of those? Like there's a Disney movie came out, and then this is the video of the thing that's called the same thing, but not quite.
It does have that look of like, oh, when is this coming out on Netflix? It's a new series, Quest for the Moonstones. Yeah, I guess.
I really enjoy that art. It's like Disney meets Pokemon anime, kind of style. Very colorful, beautiful. I think this is a great idea, and agree about Lucky Duck is a smart company doing the right things. This should be interesting for kids.
Yeah.
All right. Every year, people say, tell us more about kids' games. And then everyone ignores when the Kinderspiel is handed out. I don't know why. This is big. It's big news. But Dragomino, which gives Katala, he's won all 3 now, right?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think he's ever won a Kinderspiel.
I don't think so. I agree with that.
No, there was the one who was up for that possibility this year was Antoine Boza, had won previously the grown-up 2, let's call him. So 7 Wonders won for something, and then Hanabi won. And he was nominated for a Kinderspiel entry. If he had won that, I think he would have been the first person in history to have taken one of each. He did not. And I'm sure he and Katala, I know, are friends in real life, so I'm sure he'll give him some garbage for it.
Well, anyway, congratulations.
Yeah.
This is the first time I can remember where the family of games won, though. We have King Domino and Dragomino having won.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that there might be something else there, but that's true. This has turned out to be quite the popular series.
Yeah.
And of course, then it just goes to show you and makes sense that's why they're coming out with yet another one later on, the King Domino Origins, with sort of a prehistory theme.
All right, and the biggest build-up to something that was spoiled a week before they announced it, Fantasy Flight kept pretending that no one knew. They're like, a new thing's coming. We're like, yeah, someone already mentioned it on the internet a week ago. We waited till the official announcement to talk about it here in the news. Unfathomable, a new game, which Fantasy Flight is very careful not to even mention the words Battlestar Galactica, but this is Battlestar Galactica. Come back. I'm sure the rules have changed, at least somewhat. They look very similar. And it's set in the Arkham Horror universe, where you are crossing I think you're coming from Europe to Boston, and some people are going crazy, and you have to figure out who it is. And I am so bored by this because I understand that they can't use the Battlestar Galactica theme anymore, but to stick it in Arkham universe, like, I see so much Cthulhu. I'm tired of it.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, does it bother you that it's Cthulhu? Because I don't find that to be. I like Cthulhu, so there is that. Okay, I'll say that up front. But also, this isn't going to be like Cthulhu up like front and center. It's basically 1913. You're on a ship. People are going crazy, and there are monsters jumping on. It doesn't matter that it's Cthulhu almost. You see what I'm saying? There's monsters attacking you, and people are going crazy.
I guess I'm just not that interested in this theme. Maybe I'll play it and I'll be wrong.
So I agree with you, Z. I'm not a Cthulhu fan. I mean, I'm not against it. But I am a huge fan of the original Battlestar Galactica system, and of course Battlestar Galactica itself. So yeah, to me this is awesome and exciting that we're going to be able to get Battlestar Galactica, air quotes, back in print, even if they've modified it and changed it. So I think this is huge news for those people who like the game.
If it makes the game faster, if they streamline some of the rough edges of Battlestar. No, I know that you go, but I still think Fantasy Flight is on the edge of extinction, and this needs... No, I think that they need something big. This might be it. We'll see.
I like this. At first blush, I like this more than Battlestar Galactica, because I thought that theme was fine and great for the people that really, really like the show, and everybody else was like, it's okay. It's Battlestar Galactica. I'll put up with it. Like it didn't bother me. It didn't attract me and get me over those little moments where I was like, we're still playing. It's been 3 hours. Let's go. I didn't have Battlestar Galactica to fall back on. Does that make sense? So if they can make this shorter and this theme, which I do like better, I'm in. I'm in like Flynn. But I really doubt that Fantasy Flight will make this shorter, because they keep letting me down with that time and time and time again. Every time they rework something and they say, oh, the new Arkham Horror 3rd edition, now it's tighter, it's shorter, you're a liar. It's not shorter. It's never shorter. So I doubt it.
Does it say 2 to 4 hours on it? I'm trying to see the side of the box there.
It does say that.
It does.
It says it in our notes, too.
Oh, that's not shorter. So that's the standard game.
That's a bummer. So. 2 to 4 hours is not a standard game length.
No, that's what you would put on a Battlestar Galactica box. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. No, it's very not standard.
Battlestar Galactica didn't say 2 to 4 hours on it.
It might have. It might have said 3.
Yeah, it might have said something like that. So now you could play BSG in 2, but it's unlikely. You certainly can play it in 4. And it would normally go like 3 hours. I don't mind those kind of games at all when I'm ready to do it. Right? I'm there for this duration. I'm allocating 3 hours to
2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours. It said.
That's what it used to say.
So it's longer. Hey, they made it longer.
All right.
Anyway, I will say this. I do like the cover a lot. I think that's a really cool picture.
Yep.
The whole cover looks cool.
Yep. Great composition. Awesome.
All right. In, I think, somewhat important news here, Capstone Games has announced they have the rights to Orleans. So they're going to be bringing Orleans back, and we're showing you the current covers for Orleans. And they're bringing back both of the expansion for Orleans, Invasion, which turned it into a cooperative game, which usually doesn't work for games, but did in this case, and Trade and Intrigue, which offers 2 modules. One of them is trash. The other one's really good. The big news here, I think, is I think Tasty Minstrel Games is dead. This was their biggest game they had left.
I have no inside knowledge, but I 100% agree with what you're saying. I know DLP is also consolidating who they want to work with, and they want their games in print, and Capstone is very aggressive, in a good way, about finding new, interesting titles to print. So I kind of agree that Tasty Minstrel doesn't look like they're going to be doing much, though they have a Kickstarter going on now, I think, don't they?
I don't believe they're running a Kickstarter. I think they have one that they haven't fulfilled.
I'm going to take a quick look, but I thought that I saw that they were running one now. Belfort? Oh, that's the one that they just ran it, though, I think. Belfort Deluxe Edition. Maybe it just ended in...
The last Kickstarter they ran was one called Emperor's Choice Deluxeified. And that was last updated August 19th. That was supposed to have delivered in October 2020. I don't know if it has or not. I can look at the comments and see in a second. Okay, no. The comments are slightly angry. I'm going to stop reading them. It will ruin my day. No, they're pretty vicious comments in there. So I think they have multiple outstanding Kickstarters. I'm not saying they're gone, but the writing doesn't look good. The communication hasn't been strong. This happens a lot with board game companies. There's a lot of board game companies that are gone. But I think Capstone has positioned themselves to be one of the biggest Euro game companies of America for sure, if they're not already there.
They're doing quite well. And yes, they are picking up good licenses, lots of licenses. I agree with you, Tom. Don't ever repeat that.
Alrighty, well, there you go, folks. That's the news. Let's keep going.